Part 1. Getting Secure. 1. The fight is over. I am fully accepted. Another party, a little buzzed, alone. I wondered what people would think if they could see what I was really thinking and feeling in this moment. I had just put on another Academy Award-winning performance as the fun guy, telling jokes, gathering people around drinking games, and even shocking myself as to the lengths I would go to be visible and stand out. For what? I lamented. This wasn't working. More to the point, it was all coming to a head. I could literally feel it in my body. I was empty and dead inside, when everyone else around me thought I was so full and alive. I was winning the battle of images, but losing the battle of life. For 4 solid years, I'd been chasing cool, that elusive, ever-changing temporary salve for the soul that men have been substituting for God's perfect and unconditional love for centuries. Every day was a fight to put myself out there, to win acceptance by performing in every social, athletic, academic, and interpersonal setting, and at all times to impress everyone and win their approval. But this particular night was the equivalent of driving into a cul-de-sac of the soul. My futile quest was timing out. What was I doing wrong? The fight to prove myself seemed to be hitting on all cylinders. The things I thought would satisfy my inner thirst I already possessed. Money? Check. I had 3 jobs and wanted for nothing at the time. Path forward? Check. I was headed to one of the best universities in the world. Social capital? Check. I was very visible, and people generally liked me. This was before social media came on the scene. Girlfriend? Check. She was a wonderful gal. Religious? Check. I was a regular church attender and worked at it. So why the void? My expectation was that somewhere along this journey, there would be a catharsis, a moment of peace, where I'd sit on the summit, take a deep breath, and bask in the satisfaction that I had secured acceptance and meaning. But it hit me that night. The reality that people tire of clapping for you. Their attention is fleeting, and they are naturally into themselves. This realization pushed the summit of acceptance further away when it seemed so close. Like me, the very people I was trying to impress were thinking about their own needs and issues and were competing for the same limited resources I was competing for out there in the cruel world. When the applause fades, and you're confronted with the reality that you are no closer to the summit than when you started, it leads to depression and gives birth to despair. It's what happens when hope-filled energy and expectations have been invested without the insight that you've been engaged in a lost cause from the very beginning. That reality can feel fatal and final. Thankfully, my despair turned to desperation. As in most things, my motive for praying was to get God to follow and like me too. It was part of my formula for getting to the summit of acceptance. So that summer night, like muscle memory, I started the words of my prayer as I had for years. Our Father, who art in heaven. And as I'd experienced for years, my head was disconnected from my heart as the words filed out of my mouth on autopilot. But then, surprising myself, I stopped praying. Enter the desperation. Like a balled-up fist exploding out of nowhere to knock someone to the ground, my heart cried out. The next sentence that burst forth from my mouth was not "Hallowed be your name," but "Jesus, if you're real, I need to see you." In a do-or-die tone, this first salvo of my prayer exchange with God had been put out there. What now? Feeling exposed and vulnerable before God himself, I doubled down and followed with a second desperate blow aimed at his mysterious and eternal chest. Jesus, I want to see you.